to do is we've got an extra special guest who was on and she's a lovely lady, very, very much like a Shapali. No, her name's Aparna. I'll bring her on. Hang on. There
okay, fine. Okay. Fantastic.
So she's going to come. We'll get her into this conversation. She's been eagerly awaiting.
Good morning, my dear. Well, good morning to you, my dear.
Thank you, Norman, and a hearty welcome to Mervyn Richard. It's a lovely pleasure to meet you today.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Aparna, Merv and I have a great relationship, in particular with the likes of Shripali Weerakkody from Sri Lanka. He and his brother Viv met her one day. When was that? About a few years ago at a match at the Sticky Wicket.
In the women's T20, yeah. Well, yeah.
It's fantastic.
Beautiful.
I can remember that.
Beautiful person, yeah.
Now, guys, I've just got to let you know we're all together now. There's a bit of a Merv, for your sake as well. There are a stream of questions being asked next to me as we're talking. People are dying to find out more about not only you but your brother. A whole list of things. They want to talk about the 1970s, about cricket. There's so many questions we couldn't do justice in 5 hours.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is this is going to be an introduction as you're doing now. And we're going to add to that and develop the story over a so-called series, maybe 2 or 3 episodes. We're going to talk about you and your family and develop that into what the experiences that you and you only can share, which is very special to me and particularly special to an Indian audience. They don't have the privilege, Merv, of knowing you like I do. And I'm telling you what, you were some foxy character when I met you the first time in your white pants and your pink shirt and the girls walking down the main street of St. John's. You were kissing every single girl on the hand. I thought, am I ever going to get to the end of the street? Because you must have kissed about 90 girls' hands. It was just out of hand. I'm surprised you didn't have a rash on your mouth because you were kissing so much. This chivalry is gone. You're very lucky, Aparna, that you're not there because Merv would have your hand and he'd be kissing it like that. He is.
Well, I'm not lucky there.
I certainly miss those days now with the pandemic because we are able to hug and kiss. But we're hoping to get back
being kissed on the hand. This man here, we all know his brother Sir Mervyn Richards is known to be Mr. Cool. Absolute Mr. Cool. No. He's cool, but this man is cooler. He is. For viewers, you'll get to know Merv over a few episodes. You'll realise the power of this man. The suave of him is quite incredible. But anyway, I'm just going to get to know. We could talk about Merv. Could talk about his way to approach a woman for an hour, and it'd be captivating viewing. But we can't do that. So we'll
let's have a special time for that.
Well, I'm definitely joining.
We'll get the editors in here cutting away certain parts.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, so Merv, we're talking about you and your life with your brother, your family, because it's very special to me. You've just mentioned things that I had no idea about. What was it called again? Lapushan? I can't remember the name already.
Lilliputian.
Lilliputian. What?
Lilliputian.
So on your knees playing cricket in the park with spin bowling. India, that's what you expect India to do. They love their spin bowling, not the West Indies. I expect Andy Roberts or Curtly Ambrose to come down from a long runner, or Winston Benjamin, the madman Winston Benjamin. My gosh. I can never forget going to
no. It was ball on the arm. On the arm.
Underarm.
It was ball, ball on the arm, like you bowling, like you're doing the American kind of bowling.
Are you trying to tell me? But hang on, this is breaking news here. The underarm bowling was not Greg Chappell and Travel Chappell. Was it your brothers? That is the true underarm bowling, not against New Zealand when Greg got Trevor up on. It happened.
I remember that.
First.
I remember that. Yeah, that's right.
This is breaking
news, like that.
Everyone. This is breaking news. It happened first at Parker and St. John's, Antigua, when the Richards family bowled underarm. That's where Greg Chappell saw it first. I bet he saw an old footage of that. I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Merv, let's go back
we have said that when you start playing cricket on your knees, right, like praying, you know,
Like praying.
you normally turn out good when you start standing on both legs.
Well, I think I've spoken to Dulit Mendes, the ex-Sri Lankan batter, and he used to tell me he felt like he was on his knees when he faced the West Indies bowling for the 70s. He said it was the most, and he's only 5'0" himself, and him facing short bowling was like he was on his knees, exactly.
Right.
All right, so okay, so I'm trying to picture. You've got your brother Viv, Donald, and David Richards, all four of you.
That's right.
Okay, tell me more about that.
Well, our father, he played for the Antigua and the Leeward Islands, right? Donald, he came and he played for Antigua also and the Leeward Islands, along with Viv and myself. We all played for Antigua and the Leeward Islands in cricket. But in those days, it was to play for the island, and then between the Leeward Islands, which were Montserrat, St. Kitts, Nevis, and Grilla, which now includes St. Martin and the Virgin Islands. Now, after playing for the Leeward Islands, you had to play against the Windward Islands,
right,
in those days.
So
right?
Leeward versus Windward.
That is correct. And then they would have a trial as to see who would play for the combined island side, which comprised of the Leeward Islands and the Windward Islands. And so that unit would then have gone on to play in the regional tournament, Shell Shield, against Jamaica, Barbados, Guyana, and of course Trinidad and Tobago, right? And then from there, the selectors of the West Indies will then look at you to see whether or not you merit a pick on a President 11 team, which I think now they've used as the A team for the different countries, right? And you had to make that, and then from there, then you had to prove yourself to get on to the West Indies senior team. So there were quite a few steps that we in the smaller islands had to endure to get to the international level.
So let me summarize that. Leeward Island, you make the Leeward Island side, the Windward Island side, and you play in a tournament there. Then that would progress to playing against the main islands of Jamaica, Trinidad,
that's right,
Barbados.
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I don't know if you've seen some story. Well, the story, I think it was Ian Chappell who did made some comments about Viv when he played against Viv first. It was in Jamaica. Viv played for the President 11 team, right? Where Hammond, I think had bowled his first three balls were 12 runs, which Viv dispatched. And I think Ian Chappell described it as says, wow, this guy, we never knew anything about this guy, Richard. And he came in and, wow, Hammond was one of our, great fast bowlers. And he just dispatched him, bam, bam, bam. But of course, he didn't last that long because I think the fourth ball, he got caught behind. And he said, little did he know that it would have gone on to know that this guy Richards would have been such a devastating batsman. So it was amazing. From the present 11 team that Viv was looked at to get the West Indies team.
I mean, and the physical distancing too, because the islands are not close together. It's a hell of a trip to go between the islands. I mean, was Liat Airlines your method of getting around? Was that the airline?
That's correct. Yeah. Along with it.
We've lost you, Merv.
Was along with British, which is now called Caribbean Airlines.
Right.
But they would fly to the bigger islands. Liat went mostly to yeah.
It's just amazing, guys. We've got to put this in perspective here. Everyone from India, you're watching this. Aparna and I are in various parts of Sydney, Australia, and then some 36 hours away by plane through all sorts of obstacles. You get to basically Miami eventually, and then you head down. Luckily, if it's a direct flight, or maybe through New York, down to Antigua. And your time at the moment, it is now 1:30 in the morning in Australia. It's some 8 p.m. in India, but it's actually 10:30 a.m. where you are. So I'm surprised I'm not seeing you in your pajamas. You're not wearing your pajamas? That's good. I'm glad about that.
Well, neither of us, Norman.
Sorry?
Neither of us are wearing pajamas.
Exactly. You guys should be wearing pajamas. I'm up already. Let's not go there. Let's not go to pajamas. It's not the conversation that we had. Our viewers are horrified.
Maybe next time we have a pajama party.
But it shows the things that we do. It shows the things that we do just to make sure that we get information and things to our viewers and listeners.
So,
exactly.
Aparna, you're suggesting we call us a pajama party, is that right? Is it called a pajama party?
Why not? For our viewers.
Yes.
I think it's the perfect time. And on that note, for our viewers, I would like to ask, obviously, sir, the two boys were lying in bed, about to sleep, when the older one of the two wrapped his arms around the cricket bat and told his younger brother, Marvin, I wish they would one day pay us to play cricket. And here we are. So whoever has watched these two brothers as teenagers, I mean, they would know. So what's your thoughts from on that? Because you said that Mervyn Richards were the most stylish of the two with more finishes. It's been well known. Do you agree with me, Norman?
So who was the most stylish? Is that what you're saying? Now, look, I'm sorry. Viv is Mr. Cool. He has his Master Blaster sauce as well, which I remember purchasing. This lovely cricket bat-like bottle. And he's very saucy, very hot. But when you see Merv walk down the main street of St. John's, what's the street called? I know there's a Mervyn Richard Street, but what's the main drag down in St. John's? What was the main?
Market Street.
Market Street. When Merv and I walked down Market Street.
And also High Street.
Market and High Street, remember that? Basically, it's not that long a street, but it's made long because this man here does not stop. He doesn't stop stopping for women. If there's a beautiful woman within eyesight, then
I think he's more stylish, as I can see. Look at it.
No, I have to tell you, Norman. You know, some men also greeted me, but I think your eyes are only for the ladies.
That may well be true. All right. Just so I imagine you're all together. The brothers are playing cricket, whether it's the park or in the backyard or even within the lounge room, and you realize.
I've got to tell you here, Norman. Right? Our two older brothers, Donald and David, they were our half brothers. Okay. I should say. Right? But we never view them as half brothers because I mean, our mom accepted them as one of the family, and we were always very close and you know we loved each other and we were always supportive of each other. You know.
That's very sweet.
So it's actually myself and Viv who have the same mother and father, Mr. and Mrs. Richards. You understand? But the two older brothers were outside brothers, but still we never considered them as outside. You know, outside.
I have the same situation. My brother is also half brother to me, so I
always
totally
very close together in love and harmony.
Fantastic.
Right? It was myself and Viv who got up early, and sometimes I would be the West Indies, and Viv would be England, or vice versa. You know, I'd be England and Viv would be the West Indies. And I can tell you, in those days, that England used to do very well when Viv was England. You know, you know, and we play full innings. Like we would have the names of the players And each time we batted, that was that the name of the player, you know, and until 11 got out, you know. So, and Viv would sleep with his bat. He would sleep with his bat, and was always the first to wake up in the morning on a weekend or in the summer holidays to stay first, which means first at bat. And then when I got up, I had to take the ball. I should have been a bowler, really.
So, do you follow cricket still heavily, Merv? Do you still follow the recent series from Australia?
Yes, I really do. I really enjoy watching, you know, a good game of cricket. Very disappointingly, though, it has not been like that for the West Indies, for us in the West Indies, really now, because we lack planning, and also we lack a lot between the ears, you know, above the shoulders. No, you see, and I think most of the players who are coming along now in the West Indies, they I think their priority is to get into the IPL or these big money games. And all they had to do is just to knock the ball out of the park, you know, and they make some big money, you know, playing in these particular leagues around the world, right? But I think, and what I saw the other day between India and Australia was as I mentioned to you, and I think I made that comment to you about the test. Test cricket is about test, the test of your character, right? The test of your commitment, your test of your patriotism, the test of confidence, you know, and the test of skill. And of course, as I mentioned also, is the will sometimes is more important than the skill, as we've seen with India in that test against Australia. That was one of the best tests that I've seen for a very, 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 very long time.
Isn't that wonderful?
So now, yeah,
it's wonderful
so
that
now
you think that.
Yeah, so you see, our West Indian players, we may be able in the IPL to hit 3 balls out of the park, you know, 6, 8, that's 18 runs, right? But because they have not gone through the test where they, you know, a playing test, or where they have developed that skill, right? Because I think a skilled batsman who plays test can adapt to the shorter versions of the game, right? Using
That's correct.
technique. But you can't come in as a one-day player or a T20 player and play test. You just haven't got that. And so most of these West Indian players will probably do well in the shorter version, the T20 game. But how long can they do that for? Sometimes they will get off, but then it's something that without your technique and proper application, you bound to give the bowlers in them a chance of getting over it. So that's where our problem lies.
It's a sad side of cricket that the T20 format has taken over, and the lack of skill, lack of will has been lost, but not in this test series. This test series has proven that we've had a renaissance, a romance back to that, in my opinion. Now, just before I get you to answer that, Mervyn and Aparna, there's a question here. This is not related to cricket, by the way. And this is the sort of question I would expect Mervyn to ask, but Rahul C is asking, Aparna looks great with her hair and she looks gorgeous. Just a little bit of a tip there.
Babe! Sorry, someone.
No,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Okay, I'm just talking about
I'm so sorry for that. But that's the beauty of life, isn't it?
That's fine. Now,
yes, go on, Norman.
So I wanted to set the scene now. You've had your upbringing with your mother and father and your 2 stepbrothers and your brother Viv. When it came to the point when he was at home, I'm assuming he was at home when he was chosen to play for his country.
Sorry?
I'm sure Viv was still living at home. I'm sure Viv was still living at home when he was selected to play for his country.
Yes.
Tell me that experience. What happened that day?
Okay.
Can you
He
remember
got
that?
the call pretty early. He got the call pretty early from the domestic league, playing for the same St. John's that my brother also played for. As a matter of fact, I think it was he started out with the old man Gales, and the old man took in his pants a little, his cricket pants, him to start his first Leeward Islands game for Antigua. And then there was a game that he was playing against St. Kitts. In those days, we didn't have much training in umpiring. You know, certain guys who showed an interest were just selected just to umpire a game. And Viv was a young player, was playing against St. Kitts. The first ball I was bowled to him, it was a brilliant. Now the whole country had come out to see this young 16-year-old guy play for the country. And
16.
the first ball was, and the first ball was just dispatched to the boundary for 4, and the second one was it was an off spinner, and he pitched about leg and going, and he played at it, but he came off his pad, and there was a guy short, like who caught him, and the umpire gave him out. And Viv, being young at 16, demonstrated that no, I didn't hit it. It came off my pad. You know, didn't have the third umpire to go to. You know, and so he hesitated a little, and then he walked. But then the crowd saw that, and there was a big demonstration there. And then I don't know where the placards came from, but they were. It was like in about 5-10 minutes, there were placards saying "No Vivi, no match." He has to bat. He has to bat again. But our father, who was a prison officer, and the prison was just next to the ground, and he was watching from the eastern side where he worked, and he came to the ground and he says, "No. In cricket, when you're out, you're out. Nobody bats 3 times in a cricket match," and he warned them. But then the crowd got very aggressive, and so they decided they were going to make him bat again. And I believe after that, Viv, I think he didn't last very long. I think in that game, he was out just for the 4, but batted 3 times. First in the history of cricket.
3 times.
Now it's amazing. It's just I can just picture a young 16-year-old Viv playing, and then the issue being that he got out.
Also,
and he was not really...
I want to think that he deliberately got himself out when he went back into bat. But then the Leeward Islands Cricket Board, which Antigua was a part of, decided that they were going to ban him for dissent, you know. And so he was out of cricket for a year after that. And I think he learned his lesson, or whatever lessons to be learned, he learned from that particular game. And if you watch him play now, anytime he hits a ball, he nicks a ball, or he thinks he's out, he walks. He doesn't even wait for the umpire.
Wow, that was a lesson or a process that he learnt back then from a very young age to just take the wicket and go. Now, just some of the questions. There's a lot of questions were being asked from all over the place. What do you think of the current Indian team, Mervyn? Do you look at players like Pujara and players
Sorry.
You're losing the volume, huh?
I don't know. My audio seems to be going.
Okay. Quite normal.
Can I go get my maybe my headset, because I don't know.
Sure.
I'm not hearing you too well.
That's all right.
Can you hear me?
Aparna and I will talk. Yeah, I can hear you. Yes. We can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Could you go for my headset for me? My earphone, please. Thank you.
The other one?
Yeah.
That's all right. Aparna.
I'm going to try the other one to see if he's.
No worries.
If he's
in the meantime, we're going to talk. I noticed some of the questions we're getting questions about what the West Indies think.
On the side of it.
That's right.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I'm hearing you, but it's very, very low,
Okay.
and I can't understand.
You can understand or you can't? You
Norman, going to be loud.
I believe my ear said has run out of juice, so
That's all right.
the last day of play.
That's all right. So I might just, while Merv's doing that, Aparna,
So-
you might want to talk a bit about the questions. We've looked
I'm
at.
gonna try this, the other one.
Sure.
So give me a minute, please. Yeah,
Sure.
I'm gonna try this.
So Aparna, some of the questions we're seeing, we're looking at this questions around the relationship with Pujara. What does Merv think of Pujara?
Oh.
I see that Sunil Dutta has asked that question.
That
So
that was a culprit. Sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah. I'm hearing you much better now. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful.
Good.
Aparna and I were just talking about the questions you're being asked. A person by the name of Sunil Dutta has asked a question. He'd like to know your thoughts on Pujara. Pujara, the batsman from. What's your thoughts on him?
Oh, that's one of my favorite. And the beauty about it really is the whole fact that no, let me tell you, the Australians they weren't easy, eh? When I say they weren't easy, and that's the other part of the test that I really want to talk about also, right?
Yep.
Was that those bowlers, Hazelwood and Cummins, right? They really, I mean, if you didn't have the heart of Pujara, I mean, another batsman would have, like a ball or two after being hit, right? Would have given up if he didn't have that strong heart, right? I have always admired him for his courage, and mark you, the ball after being hit, right? He got behind it as if it was nothing, you know. And I think he was the foundation that started that whole victory for India. And he has always been a solid wall. I don't know if he will be entitled to get the wall from Rahul Dravid. He was also one of my favorite too, you know. And
Saurav Ganguly.
That's correct. And look, it goes to show you too, right? That that if the first team for India, I tell you this now, if the first team for India were to fall sick and unable to play a particular test, and they brought in a second 11 Indian team, I think they would do just as well as the first team. There is so much talent, and I believe that all those talent came from the whole creation of the IPL, exposing young players, and I think it's going to be very difficult to deal with an Indian team in the future.
Well, you think,
It's
Marvin, a question to you. You think that the retiring age of Indian cricketers should be brought forward because of so much talent, so everyone should get chance because everyone is doing so good. In this test, we saw the youngsters come and take the series home. So do you think that should be done something to give everyone a chance, or because a lot of people are in the team that they don't even get probably a debut most of their life because everyone is doing good in Indian team right now.
Right. Yeah. I think there is a time and a place when you can give them a little exposure, because sometimes you can bring a player even though he has the talent and the ability to go forward. Sometimes if he fails, it could have a devastating effect on him, even though he has a lot of talent. So you have to know the right time when you're going to bring him in, and I suppose it may move towards like when you're playing a football game, you know, and your first team has the opponent 6-0, right? Then perhaps you can in one in a particular part of the game, you can bring a young player in because you have that cushion. But I think it has to be tactically, and you have to do it in a way that it would not hamper them if they fail with the exposure that you're giving them, and I think they would do well.
So who's your
But you have to definitely go with the experience and also the your best team at that particular point, or the team that you think the wicket would be favorable for in your selection.
Absolutely. Well, I'd like to ask Norman and you both, who is the best favorite cricketer in Indian team and your favorite football player? Both of you, actually.
Well, let me tell you something, right? If my life depended on an innings, I would like to get Mr. Kohli's number, right? And if Kohli's unavailable, I'll go down to Australia and see if I can get Mr. Smith's number, right? Then you right? Who else? I have a couple of numbers. I have Joe Root's number also, and Pajara somewhere in the back pocket.
So we're not talking about getting numbers. This is getting numbers to talk to them. I'm hoping that's what it is. But
what do you mean? No.
All right. So let me summarize. You would if you had to pick some phone numbers, you'd get Kohli's first, then you would get Steve Smith's.
Yes.
Pajara's in the back pocket.
Oh yeah.
You've already got Joe Root's.
That's right.
Okay. That's a good summary.
Yeah. I like Joe Root a lot.
What's your thoughts?
But let me tell you something.
Go ahead.
If I need aggression, right? And it's something that we say in the West Indies here. Really, is that you play what you know. You if you're confident and you believe in yourself, right? You should just be yourself. Not because you're playing a test that you need to to play a role that you're really not accustomed to, right? Rohit Sharma. Oh my God, that guy is incredible, right? And the difference between being good and being great is that the good players attack the balls that are bad, and the great players, they play down the ball that they can hit away. Does that make sense to you?
Okay, so if you're a
great
good player,
players,
you're playing against the bad ball. But
they will play the ball that great player. You play the ball that you can't hit away.
Like your brother. Basically.
That's the difference between good and great. And I think this is Kohli. Kohli is the kind of player that he plays just like it's a one-day or T20 because of his ability to pick that ball up early, and he plays a sensible cricket shot, where other players would probably foot in the wrong line and body not here, but they still get the ball to the boundary. But he plays sensible cricket shots in a one-day and a T20, just as how he plays in the test. And that is a man full of confidence in his ability to face any kind of bowling attack.
So you're saying that Kohli is great in your opinion. Rohit Sharma is not great.
Definitely.
Okay.
No. Well, no, Sharma is good, but what I'm saying, I would prefer to see him play like how Sharma plays.
Be himself.
You know, play. Yeah. He's attacking batsman. Just attack. That's Sharma. That's right.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like your brother again was very similar to that. The other question we've got here.
Exactly. Regardless of the situation, it could be 4 wickets for 10 runs. Right? You cannot take into consideration. You cannot take, if you have the confidence and you believe in yourself, you cannot think about, oh, 5 wickets, so I've got to dig myself in. No, play your normal role.
True.
You'll be more successful with that, I believe.
So I'm conscious.
There were times when
we've had so much fun. Merv, we had so much fun. We've already gone 57 minutes. You and I could talk for about.
You're kidding me.
We could talk here for 4 hours. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yes, we can. Oh, yeah.
Just one question I wanted to finish on for this episode because. So
yes,
we got. Okay, Aparna, you can ask the question, but we're going to finish with one strong question now. Aparna, you're going to talk about the captaincy, are you? Yeah. So we're going to talk about the captaincy question, about the current Indian captaincy, and then we'll finish off this conversation. But we're going to bring you back again, Merv, and we're going to get more into the depths of other aspects of West Indian cricket as well, which the viewers are wanting. We're going to get all the questions together and talk about it next time. But the last question, Aparna, you ask it.
Yes, darling.
Well, ego, Norman.
No, you can talk. Okay, all right. The question that they're asking about it, you've talked about the greatness of batters, but in terms of captaincy, you've got Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, and Rahane. Those 3 players, I think it's Shivam Mishra has asked this question. Kohli, Rahane, and Sharma, they've all basically had roles as captain or vice captain in this team. What's your thoughts between the 3 of them? Who's your standout captain?
I would say Kohli. But you see, I would say Kohli. I'm going to tell you what too. If India has those 3 guys on the field at one time, oh my God, you have 3 captains that could converse with each other. Oh, that's a plus. But Kohli, for his passion and his attitude of leading by example, his attitude of what should I say? His attitude of not wanting to lose is all that I would give him the edge above the other 2. Right?
Who is the player that you would, when back, we're talking back, like Saurav Ganguly, Rahul Dravid time, who do you think was the actual captain that can match or get close to Virat Kohli? To
Dhoni, you said?
Dhoni? Virat Kohli. So Dhoni was. You think Dhoni was?
No. I was trying to figure. I was trying to get the. I didn't hear you too well. Yep. At one point, so I wasn't sure of the question that you asked.
Repeat the question.
So who do you think that Virat Kohli is as close captain or as good captain back in the days when there was Saurav Ganguly and Sachin Tendulkar? So who do you think is as good or close to Virat Kohli at the moment in Indian team?
In the Indian team? Okay, yes. I would say Dhoni, definitely. Dhoni, yeah. Dhoni. I would definitely say Dhoni. You've had some very good captains before, very unlike what the English used to do. The English used to, you had to go to Oxford or Cambridge, I think, to captain. It's a captain in an English team, whether you could bat or not bowl, but they wanted a brain on the field, But now, in these days, it comes all in the talent of a batter or bowler. Unfortunately, it's very you hardly. It's always a wicket keeper or a good batsman who always gets the captaincy. I don't know, a good bowler. And I was listening a little earlier to, I think, Norman, a comment that was made by Penasa when he was, and that is true. I totally agree with him as to the fact that Shane Warne, he has a brilliant cricket brain. I mean, you can hear it in his commentary, and his analyzing of the batsman or what should be done. and it just showed that when he was playing, that he was a great thinker, and I think that was that made him so successful in his career as the player that he was.
This has been magnificent, guys. I have loved this. This has been like I'm sitting in your lounge room, not with pajamas, I would be fully clothed, but I'd be sitting with Merv, talking about things. And I'm going to talk about one episode, Merv, I'm going to relive for our audience an experience that I had in 2010 with you and a few people. That experience, I have to tell the story, and you're all going to listen to it because it's going to be so much fun. That was such a story. I have to share it with you. So everyone, we've got so many people have been giving us so many questions. We're going to bottle them up for next time. But I want to thank you, the Honourable Senator Mervyn Richards. I'll call you the Pope of Antigua. Is that a good term? The Pope? I mean, you kissed a lot of hands.
Well, yeah. If Antigua was holiness, you could call me the Pope.
Yeah, the Pope used to kiss hands. That's what you did. Maybe that's what you did. I'm not sure. But anyway, and Aparna, thank you once again. It's way past Aparna's bedtime. It's way past my bedtime. Merv, you're just getting up in the morning.
All right.
That's what time zones we've got going on.
That's good.
And all our viewers.
Yeah, and I want to thank you. Yeah.
So thank you very much, guys.
No, I want to thank you very much for having me. And I want to say hello to India and all your viewers around the world. We've had a great time, and we're definitely going to do this again. God blessing upon you all.
Definitely.
So